The Circuit de Catalunya in sunny Spain is the site of the second weekend of the GP2 Championship Series, the feeder series to the Formula One World Championship. And you'll see it here on Speed. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Barsha with David Hobbs and Steve Matchett. The cars are on the grid. And as you might expect from a series that is full of young stars hoping to make their way to Formula One, a lot of the names are somewhat foreign or unfamiliar. Well, our Peter Windsor has a solution for that.
The GP2 series is all about the stars of tomorrow. So as the season moves into full swing, let's have a look at some of the luminaries. Let's talk to them up close and personal.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. I'm racing for Aden in GP2. Last year, I won 5 races in British Formula 3. I have a very famous uncle, 3 times world champion in Formula 1. Maybe you know it, Ayrton Senna. And it's really cool to be here.
Hi, I'm Mike Conway, car number 17, racing for Supernova this year. Last year we won the British Formula 3 Championship and the Macau Grand Prix.
Bonjour, it's Nicolas Lapierre. I'm racing for DAM this year. Last year you saw me crashing in Monaco, but this year I promise you I will do better.
Hi, I'm Karun Chandak with Durango Racing. I won the Asian Formula Renault V6 series last year and did British Formula 3 before that. First year of GP2 and it's going all right. I think we're doing pretty okay. We're just hovering outside the top 10 and I'm hoping we can make good progress. Tell you what, Narain may be the fastest Indian in the world, but I'm going to be the fastest vegetarian in the world.
Hello, my name is Andy Tuba. I'm driving for iSport International GP2 Championship. Maybe you can remember last year Istanbul, everybody was shouting at Lewis, but I won the race. I won it.
Hi, my name is Luca Zigrassi. I race for ART in the GP2 2007 Championship. I've won a couple of races in Formula 3. I won the Macau Grand Prix that is placed near Hong Kong. That was my greatest achievement so far. And well, I tried to be a surfer when I was young, but I was much better as a racing driver, so I quit the surfing and then started racing karts.
Hello, I'm Helpin Tung. I'm driving for BCN competition in car number 19. Last year I won the German Formula 3 Championship, and I just love motor racing. Doesn't matter which car, as long as it's got 4 wheels.
Ciao, I'm Luca Filippi. I drive for Supernova, and in 2005 I won the 3000 Championship, and I won the first race in Bahrain of the GP2 2007 season. And I became a racing driver just because it's easier to meet girls.
And there is his car. You know, some things don't change the world over. And as you could hear as those young drivers introduce themselves, they are a gathering of champions from the lower series, now in GP2, hoping to become the Formula One stars of the future. This is the 3rd year of GP2. 3 representatives, including 2 past champions, are now on the Formula One grid. So this is the serious stuff. Common engines and chassis, slick tires all around. It's great racing, and we'll be back in a moment to start this feature race, 110 miles with a mandatory pit stop. Welcome back to Barcelona. The field is on the starting grid for the opening round of the GP2 weekend from Barcelona, the long feature race with mandatory pit stop, followed the next day by the sprint race with no stop. We'll talk about it all as the day unfolds. A beautiful day, temperature in the 80s. As the field rolls away, let's take a look at the starting grid for today's race. The front row, all iSport for the very first time. Timo Glock of Germany on pole alongside Andreas Zuber of Austria.
Luca Di Grassi in the ART car has his best GP2 start in 3rd place alongside of Nicolas Lapierre, who crashed heavily after setting this time.
On row 3, 2 men we met at the top of the show. Mike Conway, British Formula 3 champion for Supernova. Next to him, Bruno Senna, nephew of the late 3-time Formula 1 world champion Ayrton Senna from Brazil for Team Arden.
Row 4, Borja Garcia for Durango, a 3-time winner here in Formula 3, and alongside Formula 1 driver Giorgio Pantano, who was 3rd quick but was penalised for a yellow flag infraction.
On row 5, Luca Filippi of Italy for Supernova, next to the Durango machine of India's Karun Chandak.
In 11th spot, Antonio Pizzona, having a horrible year in the FMS International car, next to Roldan Rodriguez in the Minardi Piquet car.
Moving back to row 7, Alex Negrão of Brazil in the Minardi Piquet, next to Kazuki Nakajima of Japan for Dams. Nakajima penalized 10 spots on the grid after causing a crash in the season opener in Bahrain.
Row 8, Kohai Hirati in the Trident car, currently 10th in the championship, and next to him the second ART car of 20-year-old Adrian Zaug from South Africa, Arden car, sorry.
Moving to row 9, Vitaly Petrov of Russia for Campos, next to Sergio Jimenez of Brazil for Racing Engineering.
19th, the BCN car of Sakan Yamamoto with Formula 1 experience. This is their home track alongside Pastor Maldano in the second Trident car.
On row 11, Mikhail Aleshin of Russia in a GP2 car for the very first time this weekend, and it's a great one for ART Grand Prix, replacing regular driver Michael Ammermuller, who is out with a broken wrist. Next to him, Turk Jason Tahinci for FMS International.
Christian Bacherud from Denmark in the Dave Price racing car fills out the 23rd spot, next to Ho Pin Tung, who had that horrible crash in Bahrain when he was run into by Nakajima.
On the 13th and final row, Javier Villa of Spain for Racing Engineering, next to Andy Suchek from Spain, racing for Dave Price. The cars, as I mentioned, are all common Dallara chassis, very close in dimensions to their Formula One big brothers. 550 horsepower, Renault-based V8 engines, and slick Bridgestone tires all around. It is a driver's series. These young stars hope to make the big step to Formula One. A great race in store here at Barcelona. If history tells us anything, we'll be back for the lights. Come set on the start-finish straightaway here at Barcelona. Kids, take care of your hearing. A little tension in the pit area. One mandatory stop in this feature race of 112.732 miles, to be specific.
Guys putting a lot of heat in their tires, are trying to put some heat in their rear tires. They come off that last corner. 26 cars, so it takes a long time to fill the grid. So the first guys on the grid have to wait a long time. And as you've already said, Bob, it's temperatures in the high 80s today, a lot of sunshine. So those front cars getting a bit anxious.
We have the lights. Oh, we have a problem. We have a yellow flag. Someone's lost the fire.
Well, they'll send them off on another formation lap, I believe.
It's Andreas Zuber
on the front row stalled.
Well, I'm not sure he brought it out. The yellow flag was further back up the grid, but I think he stalled it trying to roll off, and that is a crusher.
Yeah, the first stalled car was halfway back down the grid on the left-hand side of his look at the screen, I believe. Yeah.
Well, I think that was really Zuber got carried away. There was confusion. The
Jason Tahinci
flickered, and boy, oh boy, that's ruined his chances.
So what they'll do now, send the field out on another formation lap, and they'll take 1 lap off the race distance as a result of that.
That will shorten it to 38 laps. Tahinci and Zuber. Oh, man, making the front row for the first time for Andreas Zuber, and it's now taken from him.
The remote starter going into the back of the car. But this is a better way, in my opinion, of running the race weekend, to send them on a formation lap, because in prior seasons, certainly in Formula One we've seen it, they would put the mechanics back onto the grid and they would bring up a 15-minute delay. It takes a lot longer. Well, for really no real gain, providing the other runners are okay, there's reliability in the cars, they can just go around, form up on the grid again and be underway within 5 minutes.
On board with Nakajima, who will start 14th. Son of Satoru Nakajima, former Formula One driver.
David, you were talking about trying to get heat into these tires. Of course, it'll be very important down here on the start because of that understeer induced in turn 1 as they turn right at the end of that long straight. It could well be a very exciting first corner in GP2
I'm afraid the
racing.
first corner here is a long way from the start-finish line, which means by the time they get there, they're all going very fast, and all these guys are going to be bound and determined to win this race at the first corner of the race.
Now here's a further impact to Andreas Zuber, who might have had a shot at the bonus championship point for fast lap of the race. To earn it, you must start from your grid position, and Zuber will not do that. 2 points for pole have gone to Timo Glock. The field is coming back around. We'll take the time for a quick break and be back, hopefully, for the lights. Welcome back to Barcelona, Spain, and the GP2 Championship here on Speed. Bob Varsha with David Hobbs, Steve Matchett, and Peter Windsor. We've had 1 aborted attempt at the start, so the race will be shortened to 38 laps. And the two cars that stalled, Andreas Zuber and Jason Tahinchi, will start from the pit lane. Here's a look at our post-time weather conditions. Beautiful day in Spain, and a big gap between the ambient air temperature and the track temp due to that bright sunshine beaming down on the track.
This track always has trouble, you know. It has a lot of crosswinds on this long straight, and of course the sea is just off to our left, not too far away, a couple of miles away. Always brings in a lot of dust.
This is Javier Villa of Spain for Racing Engineering, starting 25th. Next to Ho Pin Tung of China, who was actually born in Holland, doesn't speak Chinese, carries a Dutch passport. Now we are ready for the lights. Here they come. Weekend 2 of the GP2 Championship.
Watch for Lapierre on the left to make a dive across the track. Oh, Jones.
Oh, great start for Bruno Senna. Lapierre very slow away, and we're 4 wide heading down to turn 1.
Good grief.
That's Karun Chandok. I can't believe he didn't take anybody out.
Entire field.
Shades of Gerhard Berger in Portugal a million years ago. Someone else is off
another
in
big
one.
crash.
This is just what we're talking about with cold tires and understeer in the first.
And everybody trying to win the race at turn 1.
You can't do it, boys. You can't do it.
One of the Supernova cars in black and yellow.
Timo Glock obviously got a very substantial lead.
I think that was Mike Conway, the British Formula 3 champion, parked in the kitty litter.
Qualify.
Yellow flag and safety car. We understand it might have been Zandy Negrão, who was also off driver's right.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dear. Mike Conway there, winner of the Formula 3 championship in England last year. Very, very prestigious championship to win. Not getting off to a good start.
Antonio Pizzonia.
A lot of damage on the right rear there. The tire flick, there it is on the opposite side of the car. A lot of damage. But just what you were talking about, guys, you know, these novice drivers really, and some of them actually, to be honest, are not that novice by now. They've been around. Look at the smoke coming off the car. Pizzonia, for example. You can't do that, not in these cars. Well, that's Pantano.
Pantano, another Formula 1 veteran.
We're going to say, not all novice drivers. That guy's certainly not.
Now, he had qualified 3rd, penalized back to 8th, and there he sits.
Let's have another look at the start.
Great start by Bruno Senna there from the left of your picture.
Okay, now watch Chanduk, who'll go over to the grass on the left, and away she goes. I can't believe he didn't collect anybody.
I can't. That was staggering. Anyway, here we are down at turn 1.
Okay, Conway.
Yes, it is.
They tried to go look at Negrão.
Both Supernovas. Let's have another look at it.
Well, of course, he was totally blindsided there.
Okay, now if the camera pans with the clutch of cars down into 1.
Which it won't.
No, it won't. You're going to watch Chanduk.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Everybody looking at the big screens, and nobody can believe it.
Now.
It's on board one of the FMS cars. This is Nakajima. No, it's a Dams car.
And here goes Chanduk.
There's Chanduk. Right to left. Now we're coming down into turn 1.
Oh, look at that move down the pit exit.
Heavy under braking, lock the front up. Now we're going to see collision off to the left.
It happened right alongside him. This is Pantano's car. I mean, Pizzonia's car.
Yeah. Wow. Well.
Okay, boys.
All right, well, that's got rid of 4 or 5 of them. So,
well, those pre-race debriefs or pre-race meetings with the engineers and the drivers were good for nothing there, weren't they?
Now, Andreas Zuber is shown as in the pits. I'm not sure if he had damage or if he's just taking this opportunity to make his mandatory pit stop behind the safety car. The cars involved in all of the shenanigans: Conway, Pantano, Filippi, Chanduk, Negrão, and of course Tahinchi we saw start on the grid. He is shown, or stall on the grid. He is now shown as officially retired from the race. And there is his teammate wobbling around on a flat right rear now. It's a tricycle.
Oh dear. So
I wonder why he didn't go for the pits the first time by. It's probably closed.
I can't even begin to imagine. But even if it's closed, I mean, you've got to go in.
And if it's closed, yeah, exactly.
If you go in, they give you a 10-second penalty, which I don't think is going to affect this car much.
No. Wow. Some lessons are learned harder than others. And one of the most important lessons in racing is you can't win the race at the first corner.
Let's have another look at the replay. Keep your eyes here on the 2 Supernova cars. They squeeze Pantano right there. Pantano's got absolutely nowhere to go. Now keep your eyes on here. Filippi in the Supernova on track. And Xander Graus coming in.
Oh, he tries to regain.
Bang. Oh. That won't work.
Well, he must have seen him just dead ahead of him.
I guess he saw him. He probably a bit blindsided, but and obviously the Supernova car was pretty much off the track to the left, and it squeezed back on the track. Oh dear.
Wow. Well, now everybody heads for the pit lane for their mandatory stops.
Yeah.
Which means we could see some pretty threadbare tires at the end of this one.
You're right.
Barcelona's notorious for chewing up tires, and you'll notice most of the teams will change just 2 at the back. A little busy in the Dams pits. LaPierre out. In comes Nakajima.
Be
careful exiting now. Be careful. Oh. Well, someone wanted to get in. That was well handled.
Wow.
It's one of the DPRs. That's Bakarud from Denmark.
Very groovy overalls on the DPR guys.
Yeah, nice paint job too. Flames. I love it.
Okay.
Well,
we're running behind the safety car, and again, the engineers should be trying to inform their drivers, keep the heat in the tires. You've seen what happens at the start of the race. We're back with Pizzonia as the guy's trying to rip the damaged tire flare off the bodywork.
Look at the right side pod. He took a beating.
Well, he got squeezed there big time. The meat and the sandwich, poor old Pizzonia. His year is just absolutely falling right apart.
Now, key moment here for race leader Timo Glock, who started from pole. He and second place runner Zaug have not yet pitted. Now, they may be waiting for the command or the notification the race will restart and then try to duck in, but they have got to make this pit stop before the race goes green.
Well, I think the race is going to green this lap because I think the lights on the pace car were off, weren't they?
Well,
or are they? I don't know.
Timo Glock may have shot himself in the foot, but he was a dominant pole sitter, well faster than anyone. He may think he can make it up on the racetrack, open a gap on the field, and make a green flag stop, but I don't know why he would want to do that.
Mechanics have to be very careful when there's a lot of pressure like that on damage on the car, and they're trying to get the car back into onto the racetrack as fast as possible, but just tearing away at the bodywork is causing more damage to the car. They just need to calm down.
Now, the first of the pitters is Bruno Senna, so when those ahead of him pit,
well, Suchek, Maldonado, Jimenez probably know Zaug and Glock, of course, the 2 key members of that group.
So many cars pitted. Zaug gridded 16th for the Campos team. He is now second.
Plastic bag or something, what that was on the track.
Now, of course, Glock and Zaug have got a big problem because if they pit now, they're going to go right to the back of this group. I think they're going to have to rush off and hide. Oh, that car, that's Luca Filippi's car still there.
I would have thought they want to get that thing.
Right now,
that's
7
really
cars.
rotten luck for Filippi.
7 cars shown out of the race in a series of incidents on lap 1.
Luca Filippi, who's parked at the side of the road, currently the leader in this championship, but only by a couple of points, so that's going to be a big setback for his championship point hopes.
Well, the championship standings will certainly be jumbled after this. And keep in mind, there's a second race on this weekend before we head for Monaco, where the GP2 series will race just once on those famous streets. Stay with us. Welcome back. The safety car comes off and we are ready. 5 laps into the scheduled 39 here, the GP2 feature race at Barcelona. And we are back underway. Timo Glock, Adrian Zaug, Jimenez, Suchek, Senna, LaPierre. Senna may be in the catbird seat. He is the first of the cars who have made their mandatory pit stop.
Trying to go around LaPierre into turn 1. Just give it a bit of a thought there, lad, because you are in a great position. Timo Glock has really got to get on here. He's really got to get cracking here and pull out a huge lead if he's got to make his green flag stop.
Well, he was about half a second clear of the field in qualifying, but with only 33 laps remaining in the race, he has very little opportunity to build up the gap he'll need to make a green flag stop. Nevertheless, these tires, these Bridgestone tires, all are the same construction and compound, chosen not by the competitors, but by the Bridgestone engineers. Could be a little threadbare by the end of this race, so we're going to see cars sliding all over the place, I'm guessing. Packed grandstands. Well, the weekend of Fernando Alonso's homecoming as Formula One world champion.
You know, the guys that haven't pitted, Bob, the top four, as a Glock's out, that's going to be their best chance. Is that the guys that came in for that early stop under safety car conditions, you're right, once their tires start to go off, that is going to be their best chance. So Glock and Zhao, they've really got to put the hammer down now and open up a lead. But their only saving grace, as I can see now, is the fact that the tires are going to go off on the cars that have made those early stops.
Bruno Senna got around Souček for fourth. On board with Nakajima. He's in 10th spot. That's Vitaly Petrov of Russia ahead of him. Bruno Garcia ahead of him.
Oh, wow, here we're going two abreast down. Whoa! Some pretty dodgy moves going on there.
Did you buckle your seatbelt? I tell you over and over again.
Cut that out.
You can see the elevation change in this Barcelona racetrack. It's a great track, even with the imposition of that chicane that takes away one of the real flat-out bravery corners in motor racing. Front runners gapping the field slightly. 26 cars at the start. We are down to 19.
We're on board now with Nakajima.
He's defending.
Tactical drift. Oh! Roldan Rodriguez on the Minardi Piquet sports car.
Going by him on the outside.
Yep.
Well, Nakajima was trying to be clever and guard the inside, and Roldan just went down the outside. But it was all pretty touch and go there. Very, very close together at very high speed.
Souček, Lapierre, Luca Di Grassi.
Lapierre going to be wanting to get round Souček. Ooh, some dust thrown on the track there.
Senna getting off driver left. Glock out to 2.7 seconds after just a couple of laps.
That's his only chance. Yep. He's got to push like there's no tomorrow.
Cannot imagine why he didn't come in at the end of that yellow flag.
Oh, look, more.
Roldan Rodriguez on the outside of Vitaly Petrov. Oh. Meanwhile, further back.
Oh, boy.
On board with Javier Villa, just getting waxed around the outside.
That was Pastor Maldonado in the Trident car going around the outside of him there into turn one. That was a distinctly hair-raising move, but it worked. Down to turn four, another long right-hander.
You can hear the engine note for these 4-liter Renault V8s. Using paddle shifting technology, much like Formula One. There's Kaz Nakajima, 22 in red and white. He's in 11th spot. Back on board with Javier Villa, racing in front of his countrymen.
Yeah, I was going to say, whoever that was on the left, whoa, watch out for him, and it made him back off, and then somebody else slipped by as well. Christian Baccarou going off to the left there in the Dave Price racing car. Dave Price Racing not having a great year either.
Villa comes from Asturias, which is the same province as the town of Oviedo, which is the home of current Formula One world champion Fernando Alonso. Oh, Garcia and Rodriguez for 8th.
Boy, that Roldan Rodriguez, not a name we know. Oh, this could end in tears.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Souček and
Dude, was that fair?
And back on again.
Is that a question? Was that a rhetorical question?
Well, I'd like to see another shot of it.
God.
It was pretty exciting stuff, but I think he just didn't give him anywhere to go.
He did.
So Lapierre drops out of 6th spot.
Lapierre, who qualified 4th, gradually made a terrible start and is paying the penalty for it.
See the gap from Petrov to Nakajima. Roldan Rodriguez you might expect to be quick around here. He's raced here at least 8 times in Spanish Formula 3. Grassi and Soucek for 5th. Grassi picked up that spot when Lapierre went off. Timo Glock's lead out to 4.7 seconds over Zhao.
He continues to run very fast, Glock, especially in the first sector. 25.5, fastest first sector on the previous lap, Glock. And that includes that turn 1.
Look down the inside. Oh, he cut away from it. This is Nakajima trying to go around the outside. Well defended.
Nakajima there tried to go around the outside. He'd seen Roldan Rodriguez do that a couple of times. I thought I'll try that, and it didn't work out quite so well.
I guess it's all about getting that run off the final corner and down the front straightaway.
Nakajima too has got to be driving with a bit of care this week, because a month ago in Bahrain he ran to the back of Ho Pin Tung and sent him into the pit wall, and they gave him a 10-spot penalty today. But he was pretty quick in qualifying.
Michael Ammermuller from ART Grand Prix, also involved in that wreck, and cracked a bone in his left wrist. They had to insert a screw, and he is out at least until Monaco.
Oh, that sounds painful.
Replaced this weekend by Russian Mikhail Aleshin. Aleshin racing in the World Series by Renault. He's picked up a victory this year, and he is currently 12th. So he is moving up, considering that he had not even set foot in one of these cars until practice opened in Barcelona.
Yeah, he qualified 21st, so if he's up to 12th, he's having a good run.
This helps when 7 cars go out of the first corner.
5 3/4 second lead over Jimenez, but he needs every second he can get.
All right, Matchett, you wondered whether Lapierre getting punted off the track was fair or foul. Let's take a closer look and see if we can blame somebody.
Yeah, you see him running very close round the outside.
Well, of course, unfortunately, at that point, so far on the outside, he's now on the marbles.
Yeah, but where's he going there?
But there was absolutely no room left.
Oh, no. I think he steered himself off. No harm, no foul. Well, there was harm. What am I talking about? He lost a spot on the track.
Well.
28 laps to go now. Andy Soucek seems to be going backwards.
Well, he started dead last, so not a surprise.
You can't
really,
go much further back than that, can you?
The lead that Timo Glock has got. Glock has got.
Whoa! Is that what's? Oh! The Trident teammates battling each other. Zarate and Maldonado for 14th. Chemistry can't be too good in that garage after those two took each other out in the sprint finale in Bahrain 4 weeks ago. Through the chicane. Normally the cars would have come straight down that hill with 2 real ball-busting right-handers with your right foot planted. At the beginning of the show, we saw a shot of Heikki Kovalainen, one of the 3 graduates of the GP2 championship, who is now a racer in Formula 1, of course, with the Renault team. Nelson Piquet Jr. was a runner-up in this championship last year, is a Renault tester right now, and heir apparent to perhaps Giancarlo Fisichella's seat. And of course, Nico Rosberg races for the Williams team after claiming the first GP2 championship over Kovalainen. There's 4, excuse me, I forgot Scott Speed. How can that? Racing with Scuderia Toro Rosso. Antonio Pizzonia, who had all that right side damage after contact at turn 1, now is talking it over with the FMS team. And the F in FMS is Giancarlo Fisichella with Renault Formula 1. There's Aleshin, the Russian. Soucek ahead, Nakajima behind Bjorn Garcia. Timo Glock's lead is now 7.5.
The key is over Senna, and he's got a 9-second lead over Senna, but he really needs about a half-minute lead over Senna, because Senna has made his pit stop. Timo Glock has not.
It looks like Antonio Pizzonia has climbed out. Yep, he is done. He becomes the 8th car out of the race of the 26 that started. We'll take a break and return with more GP2 from Spain. To the Circuit de Catalunya, extreme northeastern Spain, in the town of Montmeló, just outside Barcelona. Third race, second weekend of the GP2 championship here on Speed. They're all 2-race weekends, with the exception of Monaco coming up next in the championship schedule, where they will race but once. The order is Glock, Zaug, Jimenez, Senna. Senna, the first of the cars that has already made a pit stop. Luca de Grassi, Lapierre, Rodriguez, Garcia, Nakajima, and Petrov round out the top 10. While we're away, Andy Suchek. No, it wasn't Suchek who pitted. Was it Suchek who pitted?
Suchek had a pit stop and dropped down to 18th as a result. Hope in Tung just in front of him in 17th spot. Bacarud in 16th. Javier Villa not wanting to be where he is, down in 15th spot, in front of his home crowd.
Battle for 8th, Garcia ahead of Nakajima. Son of Satoru Nakajima, who had a long run in Formula One with Tyrrell and other teams. Was once a teammate of the late Ayrton Senna, whose nephew Bruno Senna is in this race.
And an incredibly good position too, because he is lying 4th, but he has already made his stop, and he's still only 9.7 seconds behind Timo Glock, who of course has yet to make his stop.
Looks like Nakajima getting a little oversteer already in that car. With 24 laps to go on these tires. There's Glock, leader from pole. Very experienced German, one of 4 drivers contracted to BMW Sauber in Formula One. Tests along with German Sebastian Vettel. Luca de Grassi, 5th place. Climbing the hill through the Renault corner.
You notice when you look at the flanks of these cars, the sides of the car, the floors run very close to the track, unlike the Formula One cars, which have to have a 50mm gap between the reference plane and the state plane underneath. And these cars do benefit from ground effect aerodynamic styling on the cars to make the cars stick better to the track under aerodynamic loading, which is one reason why they can run relatively close to each other, better than the Formula One cars can. The Formula One regulations do not allow for that ground effect styling underneath the cars. It's really something that Formula One should look into, actually.
I agree. Oh, Nakajima on the attack on Garcia.
No, that was close.
Almost a wheel banging there. Seems like it's just a matter of time, though, before Nakajima gets him.
Yeah, well, he's obviously been... He's being held up by Garcia, so it starts to get to the frustration point, and that's when things start going wrong. Here we are at the chicane now. What he wants to do is make a really good exit out of this turn, and lost a bit of ground there, but he really needs to be right up to the chuff of Garcia now, so he can get a good tow down to turn 1.
There's Nelson Piquet Jr. in full ING Renault regalia. He's got a couple of cars in this race. One of them running 7th right now. Well, he had a couple of cars. One is still rolling with Rodriguez. I tell you, when Piquet Jr. gets to Formula One, like his daddy Nelson before him, he's going to be spectacular. Let's have another look at Nakajima's run on Garcia. Yeah, he just didn't stay off the brakes long enough to get the car placed in the corner.
That was down to La Cascia, left-hand hairpin. Really, he should concentrate on these 2 corners and be that close to going to turn 1, which is a much better overtaking spot. Boy, Zaug, Jimenez and Senna are very close together.
Yeah, and Glock is making time too. Senna now 12.2 seconds behind the race leader. Up the hill they come.
Ooh.
Oh, down the inside. Those are the Trident teammates. We saw them lock up earlier. Harate over Maldonado. That's for 13th. Tonight here on Speed, don't miss the Speed Report. Join Drew Johnson and Nicole Mansky to go beyond the highlights and the stats. I'll be there along with whichever of my colleagues pays me more money in order to get a little more face time to recap the Formula One action and more. Speed Report tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on Speed. Here's a very different engine note from these cars. We talk about it in every race. 8-into-1 exhaust system on these cars. Degrassi closing up on Senna, who's being held up by Zaug and Jimenez.
Well, of course, Luca Degrassi got a lot of pressure on him now. He's in the ART car, and of course, ART absolutely cleaned up in the first 2 years of GP2. And he has obviously all the weights on his shoulder with Michael Ammermuller, who would have probably been the #1 driver, out of action with that broken wrist.
ART
so
Grand
Luca
Prix
Degrassi really needs to step up to the plate here.
Sent Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton into Formula One.
So that's Senna trying to get around Jimenez. Senna trying to get around Jimenez down into La Casia. Bruno Senna here trying to get around Jimenez because Senna's in such a good position with relative to our leader, who has to make his stop yet. Whoa, that must be Christian Bakkerud, the Dutchman.
Denmark,
same thing.
Exactly what my 13-year-old would have said.
Senna and Jimenez again.
Oh, nope.
Now Senna, obviously these tires are going to last him for the race, so he needs to be a bit careful how he handles them. Oh, this is Nakajima.
Oh, Nakajima off. Maybe got a little too impatient.
Look at the tire.
Yeah. He got some gravel. Cut that tire by the way.
Yeah, gravel. Yeah, he's got to be careful here.
It has definitely cut the tire down. But Senna too, he's got to be careful. You know, really trying to get around. Here we see Christian Bakkerud.
Looks like he's got a problem with the right front tire as well. There's a black spot moving around. I wonder if he flat spotted it somewhere.
I think he just locked up the rears there and flung it around.
Nakajima.
Whoa!
That's how he cut the tire.
It was the end plate. It was the right rear. It would be the rear wing end plate.
Oh dear, look at it.
Right end plate that cut the tire.
Which is why he. Oh, yep. What a terrible place for it to happen to the poor guy. Right on pit entry.
Oh boy.
So he's got to go all the way around.
All the way around. Nearly 3 miles. Oh dear. He was doing so well there and got foiled by Garcia, who suddenly slowed up in front of him.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time, son.
And he can't go too fast. If that tire comes apart, it'll cause a lot of damage.
Of course, that will affect his starting position in the sprint finale portion of the GP2 program here at Barcelona. The grid will be determined by running order in this feature race, with the top 8 inverted. So the 8th place finisher will start on pole in the sprint race. Sergio Jimenez is pitting from 6th. So Senna moves up to 3rd spot behind Glock and Zaug. The gap from Glock in 1st to Senna in 3rd, now 16.6 seconds.
I mean, Glock can only just keep on getting that. He's got to get it up around the 25-second mark to be sure of coming out still in the lead.
Well, he's been pushing along. I mean, he took a couple of seconds out on the previous lap to open that gap up. Now 14.2 between him and Zaug.
Pastor Maldonado pits for Trident. Grassi's now 4th with clear track ahead of him. The point system in this feature event of 112 miles or so is identical to Formula One. 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
7.
In the sprint race, it's just 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with another bonus point for fast lap.
Senna locking up there going down to La Casia. Didn't see much smoke, but he gave a fairly big wobble as he locked up, because now he's under pressure from Luca Degrassi.
Yeah, I think again, Glock's only hope here of taking the fight to Senna. Senna in P3, Glock leading the race, but Glock has to make that pit stop. And as we were talking about earlier on, Senna's been running on these tyres now for most of the race. If Glock pits later on into the race with the fresh tyres, then he can probably take the fight to Senna on that fresh rubber. Thing is, has he got enough time to be able to do that?
Gap is now 18.4 seconds. Nakajima has made the pits and exited a lap down now.
Well, Senna now is not only worried about catching up with Glock, he's worried about this guy here, Luca Di Grassi, who is catching him up.
What are we watching here? Is that elation? A bit of on-off action?
Getting a bit of on-off action at the top of the Campos run there.
Now here's what we're talking about. Jimenez came into the pits in 6th. He is now 14th. That's what the pit stop cost him.
Blue.
Glock, Zaug, Senna, Di Grassi, Lapierre, Rodriguez, Garcia, Petrov, Elation, and Yamamoto. There's Pastor Maldonado. Apparently he has climbed out and called it a day, becoming the 9th car out of the race. He has tasted a cup of coffee in Formula One, testing with the old Minardi team.
Timo Glock now.
How's the tyres looking? Actually, not too bad on that. No. So there's a little bit of a dark
spot on the right.
On the right.
Yeah.
That looks like pickup.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a hole or a flat spot. Well, now I don't think so again.
No, it's something that was stuck to the tyre. It's gone now after going through that left hand.
Just marbles. The gap to Senna now 18.2. Di Grassi closing in on Senna, though. He's about 2 seconds behind.
Lapierre a couple of seconds behind them. Rodriguez 1.5 seconds behind Lapierre. Garcia 7 seconds back. So that group from 3rd through to 6th really pretty close together.
16 cars on the lead lap. Karate pits from 12th. Senna closing on Zaug as well. This one is long from over with 18 laps remaining.
Alician there up to 9th spot now from right at the back, 21st on the grid, up to 9th. So he's having a pretty good run, considering, as you said, Bob, he hadn't even seen these. Oh, sliding nicely there. Hadn't even seen these cars before practice on Friday.
Glock's time's still very good. 25.8 in the first sector. Zaug was 26 dead.
Fastest car on the track that last lap was Senna in 3rd with a 31.9, just a 10th quicker than Glock.
In the second sector, Glock 34.6 and Zaug 35 dead and Senna 35. So Glock's still running well on these tyres, and of course he's had on from the from lap 1. But that's what's going to make it exciting. When he pits, will he be able to take the fight to Senna? Senna now P3.
Petrov and Elation. It was the last time we saw 2 Russian drivers battling nose to tail, and this is over 8th place, which means pole position in the sprint race. And it would be worth a point.
Well, of course, as you said, Steve, if Glock stops and puts new tyres on, he really will be in the catbird seat, because although these guys have all made their stop, they had actually only done 1 lap. So there's no difference really in the condition of these tyres. Virtually no difference in the condition of anybody's tyres at the moment. Timo Glock's not got a big disadvantage on anybody else, because he's only done 1 lap more than they have.
Yeah. So this is Glock we're watching now.
But of course he's got to come through traffic, which is not going to be easy. But he probably will be a lot quicker than anybody else.
25.6 through sector 1, 26.1 to Zaug. So again, Glock doing okay.
Incredible diversity of nationalities in this series. 26 entries, 15 different countries.
However, Senna through sector 1 was 25.7. They're very evenly matched now, actually. Senna and Glock on these split times, almost identical times. I imagine this young pit stop crew are getting very nervous and twitchy. They know that the race is in their hands now. In a way, they need to do a very slick and very quick pit stop.
Oh, engine gone.
Lapierre.
We don't often see that.
Stay online as long as you can. Oh, look at that smoke.
From 5th.
Wow, we don't often see a kablamo in GP2, but there is one right there. Oh, wow. Hello, what's this?
Oh, someone else has stopped now. That's an ardent Zaug. Oh, from fourth, trying to make the pit lane, perhaps?
Is he spun in the pit lane there at the entrance? Is that what it is?
Could be.
From second place, now Senna is in second and 19 seconds behind Glock, who has yet to stop. I wonder if he was just, if Zaug was just trying too hard to make the pits. As
That's
we watch Lapierre go up like a s'more.
Oh. You notice it's all coming out of one outlet on the GP2 cars. That 8-into-1 exhaust.
I don't think he was going for the pit lane unless, boy, oh boy, he was way overcooking it if he thought he was going to get to the pits.
Oh, wow.
So it's now Glock, Senna, DeGrassi, Rodriguez, Garcia, Petrov, and Elation now firmly up in the points in 6th and 7th, the two Russians. Yamamoto now 8th, Via 9th, and Ho Ping Tung is 10th for China.
Glock and Senna's times through sector 1, 25.7, 25.7. 35 for Glock and 34.9. Those guys are absolutely neck and neck.
Boy, Zaug will be mad at himself for that. I mean, good
keep him
Lord.
away from sharp
Strong
objects.
second for Arden. Yeah, he'll be ticked off at that.
There goes Glock.
There's Glock.
Look at the gap. 15 laps to go now. When will he pit?
Well, Glock's last lap was a 32.5. Senna's a 32.3. Oh, Senna's last lap, a 31.8, so made a bit of ground up on Glock then. He's 18.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, Senna was faster, significantly faster through that third sector.
Well, with 15 to go, we'll take another break. Going to be an interesting finish. When will Timo Glock pit? We'll return in a moment. Welcome back. 12 laps remaining in the opening feature race of the GP2 Championship weekend from the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain. I'm Bob Varsha with David Hobbs and Steve Matchett. This is the best battle on the track right now, and it's a group. Oh, Timo Glock is pitting from the race lead. Meanwhile, Petrov, Eliashin, Yamamoto, and Villa are battling over 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Now, nice and steady, boys. Take your time, but work as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Rears
when I
only
say
once
take
again.
your time, I mean hurry up.
Nice and controlled. That's good, but you've got to push now.
Let's see where he
Mr.
comes
Glock.
out. That's DeGrassi, who was
third.
Looks like third for Glock. Yeah, Rodriguez coming over the rise.
Now, and Glock take it to Senna.
I must say that's less damage than I thought he was going to suffer.
Mind you, he's got to take it to Grassi first and saying that.
Yeah, and DeGrassi's not going to be easy to get around.
Well, I kept watching Glock's time, wondering when he would come in for a stop, and quite frankly, his performance didn't drop.
No.
You couldn't really say that his lap time started to fall off, and that was the reason they called him.
But it is a mandatory pit stop. Now Bruno Senna being told he is the race leader. He made his stop behind the safety car after a multi-car shunt on the opening lap of the race. And Timo Glock may yet rue not having done that himself. There's the gap. Senna to DeGrassi.
Now Bruno Senna qualified 6th, but Bruno Senna made a terrific start. And came through round about 3rd at the end of that first disastrous lap because he got around in front of all that schmozzle down at turn 1. So he made a good start, and he sure is benefiting from it big time.
Javier Villa looking ahead at Sakan Yamamoto. Yamamoto's in 8th, and that will be pole position for tomorrow's sprint finale. This is back to the battle. Petrov, Elation, Yamamoto, Villa.
I think if I'd be Glock's pit stop, guys, I might have hang on for just a little bit more watching this battle here, because this could easily bring out a yellow flag.
Sakan Yamamoto raced briefly with Super Aguri Honda in Formula One.
Well, typically the final 10 laps of the Grand Prix GP2 series races, that is where the tyres have started to really fall off. You get a lot of understeer and a lot of oversteer on these cars.
Timo Glock better hope so.
Yeah.
Because he's got fresh ones. Villa looking at Yamamoto down the inside, but he can't get there.
He's been looking at Yamamoto for the last 5 or 6 laps, outside, inside.
Oh, now the two Russians are at it. Yamamoto looking around the outside. You're with Villa.
This is going to end in tears, which is, if I'd been Glock's guys, I'd have waited till this lot all end up in the dirt, and then I would have made the pit stop.
Yeah.
Oh, Yamamoto locking up there, which gives VR a bit of a chance. Coming up the hill to Campos. Whoa, side by side. Oh, this could be going nasty.
Yeah. She got out. Now the downhill run.
The chicane coming up. Chicken, as Alan Prost would call it.
Listen to him lose grip. Spinning those rears.
He's lost a lot of ground in that last complex. Meanwhile, Alesian is really trying to get around Petrov at the front of this little group. Like that. Oh. Yeah. I think Alesian's quicker.
Yeah, I think he is. Petrov seemed to have slowed there. Now he picks up the pace.
Yeah, he picked up the pace.
Is that Jimenez coming up from behind to make it a 5-way battle?
Oh, is this what they need?
Oh, and everybody's joining this fight now.
Yeah, because Petrov is holding his train
He
up.
is. Yep. Hope in Tung becomes the 6th car.
Whoa, there goes Alesian. Oh. That's Garani, is that it? That gives Yamamoto another shot.
You're right, David. This is going to be...
I'm just holding our breath.
When it happens, it's going to be huge.
Meanwhile, Senna has a 9.1 second lead over Luca Di Grassi and 15.3 seconds over Timo Glock. The Glock just went purple in the second sector, excuse me. He's trying.
Senna's not slow. He said his personal best in Sector 2, 34.6. And you're right, Glock, 34.2.
Glock still almost 4 seconds behind Di Grassi.
I just don't know why they didn't stop in that first lap effort. Oh, there's Alesian and Petrov there. What's happening here?
No, what are we watching? Glock locking up?
Because those front tyres, he didn't change the front, so you know they're pretty well shot anyway. Now that one's got, must have a huge flat spot on it. Whereas, let's have a look.
Let it turn, let it turn, let it turn.
Oh.
You're right, that's a good point. They didn't change the fronts, did they? Just the rears and the stop.
Now Glock purple in Sector 1. Quickest time of the race thus far in the first of 3 sectors. And it is a quick sector. There's a look at your top 4, but we'll be watching the top 3. Senna, Di Grassi, and Glock, the podium runners, with just a handful of laps to go. Welcome back. 5 laps to go in the feature race of the GP2 weekend at Barcelona. Bob Varsha, David Hobbs, Steve Matchett with you. We ride with Javier Villa, who is in 9th, having been passed by Sergio Jimenez. Bruno Senna leads. Timo Glock has been setting fast lap after fast lap, so he'll probably pick up that bonus point, but he has gotten around Luca Di Grassi and is now just 12.5 seconds behind the race leader. Let's see how he got second.
Coming up on Di Grassi, coming out of that Campos turn. Luca Di Grassi doesn't quite know how to block him. He goes down the inside into La Cascia, does a nice job there. Here we see it again. Di Grassi thinks about closing the door, too late. He's already in there. Got his foot in the door, and after this he set fast up the race.
Now this was Jimenez going around Yamamoto, having already passed Villa, with whom you ride. There's a look from the outside.
Ooh. Lots of smoke.
And that was Vitaly Petrov ahead of him, because he in turn was passed by countryman Mikhail Alesian for 6th place. And now the order is Senna, Glock, who has just reset fast lap with a 1:30.633. Di Grassi, Rodriguez, Garcia, Alesian, Petrov, and Jimenez. Those are the 8.
Well, we
No,
knew that
Petrov's going backwards.
We knew that Petrov was holding that train up, which is why they're all struggling around so much. He's doing 35.9, quite 36.
So
meanwhile, Elation's doing low 33s, having got around him, disappeared.
So Elation
whoa,
is
whoa,
sixth.
whoa, whoa, whoa! What are you doing, boys?
That's a replay of everybody going around Petrov, right? So Elation 6th, Jimenez 7th, Villa 8th. Petrov is headed for the airport. That was one of Petrov's mistakes.
Yes.
So Petrov has now lost the opportunity to be one of the inverted 8. Still has a shot at a point or two. Checking the gaps. Boy, Glock is down to 10.9 seconds behind Senna, but he's only got 4 laps to go.
Well, he set an amazing lap there, 30.3, and all the rest of the guys behind are like 34, 33, 34, so he's like 4 seconds up. Then Senna responded and put in a 31.9 to counter Glock's fantastic pace, but, you know, 10.9 seconds, 11 seconds in 4 laps, it ain't going to work. But I tell you, he's on a flyer, 25.4, Sector 1. He ain't giving up.
There is Senna, our leader. Great shot as he comes up over that brow. The heat haze, it's always a terrific shot, I think, that one.
Realistically now, Glock's only chance is to try and keep the pace on and see if Senna will make an error.
Exactly. The gap now 9.4 seconds.
Glock in Sector 1, 25.4. Senna in Sector 1, 25.8. So 4 tenths in the first sector alone. 34.8 for Senna, Sector 2, and 34.1. So, I mean, Glock's flying.
Look at that. Timo Glock only got by Luca Di Grassi last lap, and he's 12 seconds in 2 laps. Sorry.
He's a man with some place to go, is Timo Glock. Little lock up there from the left front.
Because Timo Glock's got a lot of experience. He's done some Formula 1. He's done Champ Car. Done a bit of everything.
So Timo trying to wave the flag for iSport. They swept the front row for the first time in 3 seasons in the sport. Took only their 2nd pole for the team, did Timo Glock. The previous one, Scott Speed of the United States at this very same racetrack 2 years ago. Zuber out of the race before it really began.
Yeah, that was a shame.
Glock had to give up the lead on his pit stop and now runs 2nd, 9.5 seconds back. But the clock is ticking, just 3 laps to go. If Senna can hold on for the win, it'll be the first for the Arden International team, owned by Christian Horner, who is the team principal for Red Bull Racing and Formula 1. It'll be the first win for the Arden team since the 2nd race, the sprint finale on the opening weekend of last season in Valencia, Spain, when Michael Ammermuller took the top step of the podium. 8 seconds flat, but only 2 laps to go.
Look at that. He's pulled out over Di Grassi in 3 laps. Di Grassi must be...
he's got to be careful. He's only got 2.8 seconds on Rodriguez, who is very good here.
Because Di Grassi at one stage was only 1.5 seconds behind Bruno Senna. He was catching them up. So he may well have ruined his tyres doing that, because he is now sadly off the pace.
Glock just set the fastest first sector time of the race, 25.3 in his pursuit of Senna. Again, he ain't going to do it with 2 laps to go. He's just got to force an error by Senna is the only thing he can do now.
Yeah. See if he can get within 5 seconds of him. Well, credit Senna. I mean, he's driven a heady race, hasn't put a wheel wrong. The team was right on the strategy.
And he made a great start, and that start basically won in this race.
Yep.
0.6 of a second is just taken out of Senna in the 2nd sector. But I guess, you know, when the world looks at Glock's performance, knowing that he come in and took those tyres late in the race, Glock has got to put in some fast times now to try and justify that.
White flag lap, 1 to go. And the gap is 6.6 seconds. Well, this will be one Timo Glock let get away.
Yeah, but, you know, it's got. I would say Glock's doing all he can to try and justify what happened. You know, the team made that decision to call him in late for whatever reason. Maybe he just wasn't aware that all the other guys were pitting behind at that opening incident.
We've seen it time and time again. People throwing away races in GP2 by leaving their mandatory stop too late in the running.
Yeah.
Well, having missed that opening opportunity of doing it on the first lap or the second lap like everybody else did, he was done. He was toast, whatever he did. Right. Because the biggest lead he ever had was 19 seconds.
Kaz Nakajima just took away the fast lap bonus point from Timo Glock, a 130.078 to Glock's 130.505. So it's all coming apart for Timo Glock here. He's not even going to get the bonus point for fast lap, although the race isn't over yet.
Oh, that's what.
Off the final corner, here comes Bruno Senna to take his first career GP2 championship win. And Timo Glock behind him. 5.3 seconds, the final margin of victory. And Timo Glock does not wrest back the bonus point for fast lap. Here's the battle for third. Luca de Grassi, followed by Roldan Rodriguez. De Grassi takes it. Good run for Rodriguez in front of his home fans. And Borja Garcia will come home, I think, in 5th place. Look at Senna celebrating. And how about the Russian presidents? Mikhail Aleshin, in his first GP2 start, never saw the car until this weekend, and he winds up in 6th place.
Qualifying 21st, so that was definitely the drive of the day, I would say.
Very cool.
Yep. Remember, we will invert the top 8 for the sprint finale. We'll have highlights of that a little bit later in the show, but for now, Bruno Senna will arrive at a place that his late uncle Ayrton Senna knew well, the top step of the podium at a Grand Prix venue somewhere in the world. We'll take a break and return. For the podium ceremonies in the GP2 feature race at Barcelona, and in red and blue in the middle, Bruno Senna, the race winner. Time for the anthems.
So congratulations to Bruno Senna, the trophy presented to him by Senor Manuel Ramal, the mayor of Montemelo.
There by the rail, I believe, is Bruno Senna's mother, Viviane, sister of the late Ayrton Senna, the woman who runs his foundation. Bruno has already done something his uncle Ayrton never did, win in Barcelona. The elder Senna was 0 for 3 in Formula One races here. Timo Glock, his body language says, well, I could have, but that one got away. There's Luca de Grassi for ART Grand Prix. And we should point out, Kaz Nakajima, who I mentioned with a couple of laps to go, took fast lap away from Timo Glock. He improved it on the last lap to post the only lap of the race under 1 minute 30 seconds with a 1:29.989.
And don't forget, at your feet is the champagne.
Photo op.
Here it comes.
And now time for the champagne. One race to go in the GP2 weekend. We'll have highlights of the sprint feature coming up next. So stick around. More of the GP2 championship from the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain. Coming your way here on Speed.
This is the big one, boys. We have it here.
Barcelona, where the feature race on the second GP2 championship weekend is complete. A bit nostalgic, a second-generation winner. Gentlemen?
Bruno Senna, of course, nephew of the great Ayrton Senna, comes through for a win for Arden. Timo Glock had a bit of a messed up pit stop there, which is very difficult for them to call, but comes good second. Luca de Grassi, Roldan Rodriguez, Borja Garcia, Alician standing in for Amamula.
Hoping Tung there in the BCN competition car in 11th. Arati 13th and Trident.
And Pizzonia, Formula One driver, not doing too good. Shandok having the most amazing escape on lap 1.
And now through the magic of television, let's take a look at the highlights of Sunday's sprint finale. More engine problems for Nicolas Lapierre. Blew up on Saturday. More problems Sunday. He and this man, Borja Garcia, had to go to the pit lane to make their starts.
Villa on pole makes a great start. Sergio Jimenez alongside him does not. Luca de Grassi makes a great start, as does Bruno Senna, who of course was 8th with the result of the inverted grid. And as they go down to turn 1, they are 2nd and 3rd. Roldan Rodriguez, unfortunately, gets punted by Christian Baccarat, all off into the gravel there. There you see it again. Ooh, 89 into 1 will not go. There's Adrian Zaug there, forced into the gravel, not looking good on your lap 1.
Now we're on board with Kaz Nakajima in the Dams car. From his perspective, down into turn 1. Well, there's the fray in front as the cars spin off. Stage left. Kaz manages to remain on track. Still on lap 1, Jason Tahinchi out, and he is not at all happy with what's going on down there.
You'd think they'd have learned something on Saturday. One thing that did not change, Timo Glock, very, very quick, passing Senna here for 3rd place. After getting by Luca de Grassi for 2nd, here he passes Javier Villa for the lead. Glock, not to be denied, a very unhappy camper after missing out on the victory on Saturday. He was dynamite on Sunday.
He drove a good race, and there you see them, Villa, de Grassi and Senna running 2nd to 4th.
And in the end, Glock would not be denied, takes the checkered flag. Look at the battle for 2nd. Villa just out-leaning de Grassi and Bruno Senna, who wound up 4th. Meanwhile, last lap, Pastor Maldonado battling with Mike Conway. Lost the battle for adhesion and winds up knocking down a sponsor sign. It's another thing a young driver has to learn. Glock celebrates with champagne. Final results.
Good run for Timo Glock. Javier Villa finishes up 2nd. Luca de Grassi 3rd. Bruno Senna 4th. Sergio Jimenez, after that bad start, 5th. Giorgio Pantano finally making some points in 6th. Kaz Nakajima, Antonio Pizzonia, and Andrea Zuba.
These guys now from 10 to 18th. Felipe Supernova. Right behind him is teammate Mike Conway, 12th, also in the Supernova.
I was thinking this may be the greatest day in Russian racing history with 2 young Russians doing well. How about the points after 4 races?
There are the points. Timo Glock leading handily with 31 over Bruno Senna with 18. Luca De Filippi right behind him with 16, and Luca de Grassi not far behind him with 14. Then look at the next 2 guys with 8, and the next 2 with 6. Roldan Rodriguez there with 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. It's all pretty close.
Team championship, Steve?
iSport International, there they are out in front with a handy 37 points. Arden International behind them in 21. Supernova International 18. And right down the bottom, Racing Engineering with 10. Campos Racing with 1.
Well, we are just 4 races into a 21-race season. The Spanish round of the GP2 Championship is now complete, but join us again in 2 weeks' time when the series heads to the streets of legendary Monaco. Our coverage begins at 6 a.m. Eastern on Sunday the 27th, followed immediately by the Acura pre-race show for the Formula One Grand Prix of Monaco, the grandest Grand Prix of all. For David Hobbs, Steve Batchett, and Peter Windsor, I'm Bob Varsha. We'll see you in 2 weeks from the harbor side at Monaco. So long, everyone.